Good evening and welcome to Random Access. My name is Glenn McElhenney and the woman to my left is Chris Riley, and she has been working on a film for several years called The Campaign. She's going to tell us about the film, the behind the scenes of the film, and the new outreach campaign for the film as it goes on to public television stations all across the U.S. Welcome to Random Access, Chris.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate being on the show this evening.
So glad you're here. So tell us about how Christy Herring, the director and producer of the film, got the inside scoop.
Well, she was able to, they granted her exclusive access to the San Francisco headquarters in the Castro. She had originally started volunteering on the campaign in May of 2008. And when she was there volunteering, she realized that somebody needed to document the film, and she realized that person needed to be her. And she went to the Northern California field director at the time and talked to them about being able to come in and film, and they granted her access to the San Francisco headquarters.
So she did get exclusive access.
Yes, she did.
And it really is an intimate portrait of that campaign. She really got the inside scoop with these folks and got to follow them around.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and start with a clip of City Hall and showing the beginning of the marriages in the summer of 2008.
The morning of June 17, 2008 was a high point in the history of LGBT rights. For the first time, any American same-sex couple could come to California and be legally married.
It's putting a legal stamp of approval on what we've been doing for 28 years. It's the best.
We've got our license. We got our license. We're getting married.
It's about human dignity. It's about civil rights. It's about time.
San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom had defied state law by opening City Hall to same-sex marriages.
I do.
And the ensuing legal battle produced a landmark victory.
Not everyone is celebrating. Same-sex marriage opponents are vowing to change the state's constitution.
1.1 million Californians went out and signed a petition to put this issue on the ballot in November to take the issue away from the courts and allow the people to decide once and for all what marriage means.
On this day, and with the power invested in me, I announce you legally married.
At this moment, same-sex couples had more legal rights than they had ever had before. But Proposition 8 threatened to take that away.
So tell us a little bit, Chris, about Christy Herring and Mark Smolowitz, who are the two people mainly behind the film and this great look at the campaign.
Sure. Well, Christy Herring is the director-producer of the film. She's done the filming all the way through. So she had started back in June of 2008. And she is a graduate from Stanford University with their documentary and film school. She has her master's from Stanford. And Mark is a two-time Academy Award nominee. He came on to the campaign about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, to really kind of be able to bring it to its completion and through into distribution.
Mm-hmm. And Christy's from Mississippi originally?
Yes.
Did she make some films down in Mississippi way?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So yeah, she's and she's also an award-winning filmmaker. And she had moved to the Bay Area mid-2000s, I believe.
And she shot the film mostly herself, but it sounds like she must have had a crew too.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
So she did have a crew, did a little sound, did a little lights.
Most definitely. Well, and a lot of there's over 200 hours of footage to the film.
That made it into the 1 hour that we get to see on the public stations.
Yes.
Alrighty, and how about Mark and his producing? What did he bring to the film?
Mark has, so he's done previously the Weather Underground and Trembling Before God, and from being a producer.
Both excellent films.
Yes, both very, very good films. From being a producer, most recently also The Power of Two. And so he's really come in and really bringing the film kind of to its completion and bringing it into its next stages.
Excellent. So tell us about the outreach for the film and the campaign. Let's start with the campaign first and the campaign workers. This really gets an intimate view of the campaign workers as they go out to neighborhoods, phone banks, really the inside scoop again on getting that campaign going in the summer of 2008.
Most definitely. It's a really an intimate look at, it's a character-driven film, really looking at 5, everyday people that are really driven by their passion for equality and really coming together and being inspired to work on this campaign no matter what, be able to set aside portions of their lives and be able to come in. People came in from the East Coast. So
all across the country.
All across the country.
Not just our whole state.
Exactly, exactly. To be able to work on the film, or excuse me, work on the campaign.
And so people did come from other campaigns that had also been for equality, or they were just interested in coming to California? This sometime was their first campaign.
It was their very first campaign. They realized the importance of California and the importance of relationship recognition and marriage.
Wonderful. Well, we do have a clip of one of our campaign workers that worked on the campaign itself. She's in the film, and her name is Claudia.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and show a clip of Claudia.
I was never the kind of person to be scared of homophobia. No one really ever tried to hassle me. But I got people in my face for just being on the street. I had one guy in the park and I just saw him, I gave him a flyer and I'm like, would you like to sign up? You want some literature? Any questions? He was like, do you know what you're doing? You're going to hell. And I'm like, whoa, So I was like, well, you have a nice day, sir. And he followed me. And I just finally stopped and I looked in his face and I was like, you know what? You need to leave me alone. We don't agree. That's fine, but you need to have a nice day.
Excellent. So Claudia really put her heart and soul into this, didn't she?
Most definitely that she did. And, as did everybody who worked on the campaign, whether they were, staff that had worked on the campaign or they were volunteers. And that's a couple of the characters in the film are volunteers, demonstrating how people, again, just set aside portions of their lives to be able to dedicate to the campaign.
So let's talk about now the outreach that you're doing on the national campaign for this new film. Tell us about its premiere at Frameline, which is the San Francisco International Lesbian and Gay Film Festival in San Francisco. It was at the Castro Theater in June. Tell us about that and then the outreach for the campaign.
Yeah, so the film premiered at the Castro Theater, as you mentioned, on June 23rd. It was really exciting. It was a packed theater at the Castro Theater, and a cheering standing ovation afterwards. It was very exciting. And what was also very exciting is the Castro Theater was literally just steps away from the San Francisco headquarters during the No on 8 campaign. So it really kind of brought that home and people really felt that. And since the time from the premiere, it has since aired on KCET television in Los Angeles. We also have been in film festivals in Denver, in Houston.
LGBT film festivals around the country?
Yes.
Excellent.
Denver, Houston, North Carolina, and then also starting a national public television rollout, starting with Seattle in mid-August. And we have been, it's 61 air dates, 35 channels in 12 states. So,
impressive.
And that's just the beginning.
For a film that just premiered just a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
Very impressive.
Exactly.
And how is it going with the partners that you have? Tell us about the help that you got from ITVS, who's one of the major funders of the film.
Yeah, so ITVS came in, again, about a year and a half ago to be able to give the full lift to the film. ITVS is a major donor and very appreciative to ITVS, and that also allows us to be able to be on public television, and also had original funding from Chicken and Egg too, which gave that additional lift.
Yeah,
at the
aren't
beginning.
Chicken and Egg an incubator of doc films?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
excellent.
So that was really helpful. And then the partners that we've been able to partner with have been ACLU, and we're with their different chapters, both Northern California, Southern California. We've also worked with ACLU in Pennsylvania, in Washington State, and most recently we're working with ACLU in Alabama.
Wow, Alabama.
Yeah, they want to bring the film into Alabama, so that's very exciting, and also ACLU Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been working with ACLU across the country. We've also been working with PFLAG, which is Parents and Friends of Lesbian and Gays, the different chapters, and also in different states. Again, in Pennsylvania, in Knoxville, Tennessee, in San Francisco too, and also in Seattle.
So it sounds like it's getting highlighted in areas where they still have marriage equality campaigns going on and really want to bring in the film.
Exactly, exactly. That's really a good portion of wanting to be able to get the film into the hands of different organizations and the states where are similar to California or like Massachusetts that now do have marriage. But what are those organizations doing post-marriage for same-sex couples? And then in states where they are currently working on a marriage campaign similar to Pennsylvania or Oregon, and then also looking at states like Alabama or Mississippi, where when they passed their marriage bans, it was in the 80% range, but also being able to help with those organizations and doing their work.
Excellent. Now tell us about how the ending changed on this film, because the film that premiered in June at the Frameline Film Festival had a certain ending, and then the Supreme Court ruled on it after the premiere of the film. Tell us about that.
So it was very exciting, a very, very exciting week. So June 23rd, the film premieres at the Castro Theater. June 26th, the Supreme Court gives its decision on both Proposition 8 and on the Defense of Marriage Act. And Christy went with her crew, and we're at San Francisco City Hall, and we're able to capture what happened that day in City Hall, and then started going into the editing room. And then that Friday, when the Ninth Circuit Court lifted the stay on the marriages, went back to City Hall and was able to capture marriages as they were happening in City Hall. And that is the new happy ending.
So it has a happy ending to the film now,
yes,
post its premiere, but ready for all the public television stations.
Exactly.
Great. So we're going to show the original ending of the film. Now, just to show a little clip of the ending, the original sad ending that has now been changed. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we face the painful day of the voters of California, by a bare majority, saying that even the families that we form are not equal under the law. It is a shameful day, and it is a day the state will live to regret. There is no doubt about that.
Prop 8, turn me around, keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up freedoms. Thank you.
Ready to go! Fire up! 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 Ready to go! Equality! Now!
So thank you again, Chris, for coming tonight to Random Access. And we're going to put the ways to reach the film and find out where it's screening all across the country. Those are going to be up on the screen. So thank you again for coming. And we really look forward to seeing the campaign.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.